Alright everybody, I hope you're doing well. Today's video is going to be on 3 Todd Cutler bladed products. I really enjoy Todd Cutler both as a personality and I enjoy his business side. I really think he puts out really great products at an affordable price for the average historical reenactor or like me, I'm an amateur historian, so I just really enjoy doing historical stuff, and I love swords and I love daggers. So starting out, we have for my armored impression, because I have a harness, this is the dagger that goes on my hip for my armor combat. This is an Italian English style basselard dagger. This is a really giant dagger. It's got the typical eye shape, flat crossguard. It is a full tang knife with a super beefy tang, and it tapers down towards the end, but it's still very stout in the distal taper. It has, on both sides, it has 3 slats of wood, 1, 2, and 3 here, that are riveted on, and presents a very attractive diamond cross section that transitions into a hexagonal cross section down towards the base with a slight bit of a ricasso right there. It comes with a very handsome leather sheath. I got the natural one and I just dyed red onto it here, and I added a little decorative cross. It comes with a brass end piece here, which is very, very nice. Hand stitched, hand tooled, just lovely. It's nice that these come together. It comes with a leather thong, which is also very nice. You can see the size here. It fits me just about perfect as far as the length of the dagger for fighting. The handle is generous enough to allow me to wear gauntlets. I should have brought them out, but even with my giant boot hurt mittens, I can grip this thing very comfortably for ice pick grip or for holding, like a sword. It's very nice to use for manipulations. I punctured the side of a tire with this in this direction, basically at this speed. It's very easy, and this is not a sharp dagger. The tip is sharp, but the blade sides are not, the edges. Just overall, I give this a 10 out of 10. If you're looking for a medieval dagger and you're somewhere in the 14th, 15th century, this is your guy right here, because it'll do everything you need if you're doing armored, anything in armor. I would recommend getting a different basselard because if you don't have armor, because it's wider this way than it is this way. So gripping it in gauntlets is quite comfy, but it's very unusual to hold if you're trying to index it, because you want to turn it this way if you're used to like modern knives, because it's wider here than it is this way. So you kind of want to hold it like this, but if you're wearing gauntlets, you just feel the handle and it fits really nicely. So if you're doing armor, historical reenactment or combat or anything, or like doing harness fecting, this is the one I would choose if you want a basselard. And that goes with this is the sidearm piece or my accessory to this war sword. This is a windlass, not part of the video, but I just want to show these two go together because this is for armor fighting. The next dagger this is the accessory to my arming sword. This is a Italian style basselard, and you can see a theme here. I really like basselard daggers, and Todd Cutlers are very, very attractive. So this is the Italian style. The other one was a English-Italian export style. This is a different export, but this was very common in Italy itself. But you did see some of these in different places. It comes with these very, very handsome horn handle scales. Again, it's 3-piece construction, so there's a horn here, and horn here, all riveted on with brass. Again, a very beefy tang, not as beefy as this English-Italian. And again, the grip is slightly shorter. So that's why I chose this one to accompany my arming sword, because I can't grip my arming sword in the gauntlets that I have, and I can do this one with the gauntlets, but it's really tight. It's not uncomfortably tight and it's not clumsily tight where I would miss it, but it is not as generous as the other one as far as grip length. So that's why I chose it to go with the arming sword. The blade is a diamond cross section up in the front, and it transitions with a fuller in the middle here, about halfway up. It is definitely a handmade blade. The diamond, like the ridge here, is fairly straight, but the fuller is definitely done by hand, I can tell. And it's charming. I don't think that's a con or anything. It's not machine precise. It's definitely done by a person going on a grinder, and it adds a certain character to it. I really like it. It's not wavy where you go, oh, it's ugly. It's just not a machine perfect, you know, execution. And that's fine, because historically nothing was machine perfect anyways. So you can see it's a very attractive dagger. This one I got sharp from Todd Cutler, and it is, you get a piece of plastic here, you can see it's sharp. So if it cuts that tough ass plastic, it cuts anything. I mean, it cut some paper earlier, not the greatest, but it did cut paper. It pierces really well. I punched this through the side of a tire as well. Again, not a lot of effort. It did leave some black residue just kind of on the blade from the tire, but it'll wipe off with oil. There's wax all over this. That's another thing. I packed some of these gaps because the fuller kind of passes into the actual tang. So there's a gap here and a gap here where the fuller goes in the handle scale. So I just put wax in there. I just packed it in, and works great. It's also a historical thing that was done. People would pack beeswax or whatever they had, tallow. They would put it into the cross guards if there's a gap. Fits the hand beautifully. It is a very comfortable knife to hold. This dagger comes again with a sheath. It's hand tooled, very nice oxblood kind of leather color, with a beautiful end piece here, very characteristic and nice, hand stitched. But this does suffer slightly from the fitment. So you can see I'm pushing it on here, and there's still a gap between the sheath and the curve of this crossguard. I can't really push it any tighter. You know, it's okay. It's totally fine. I'm sure this was common back in the day. No big deal. I may adjust this slightly to fit it more properly, because I can, you can adjust leather. But overall, very, very nice that it comes with the scabbard. I'd say 8 out of 10. Really, really good. The fitment of the scabbard is a sort of a ding, but it's fine. I really, really love this. This is my favorite type of knife of all time. This particular faceted grip, horn handle, basselard with the tang. This is my favorite knife style ever. I love these. So that's the Italian style basselard Todd Cutler. The final Todd Cutler product I have here is my arming sword. So this is based off the Castillion Sword. It was found in the River Dordogne. This was a sword that was replicated by Todd Cutler, and it's a pretty good facsimile of one of those types of swords. There were probably 100 or so swords that were found in that haul, and there were two distinct types. There were some with fishtail pommels, some with these wheel pommels in this type of guard, and very interesting, unusual find of that many swords, and they're notable for having been associated with a particular battle. So this is a reproduction of one of the types of swords from that find, and this is a really good sword. So this dagger is the associate for this arming sword in my out of armor impression kit. So these will go together, whereas in armor this big ass dagger and this war sword will go together as associates. So I can have my gauntlet dagger, you know, that can fit in the gauntlets, and my armor fighting sword, because this one's a beast. So anyways, this comes with this really beautiful scabbard. I got the red one because I really like red. Has beautiful brass fitting end piece right there, and it is wrapped really nicely with a sling attachment for mounting it to the belt. So you have a hook here for the belt, and you have a actual belting buckle here, so it'll hang kind of at an angle. Beautiful, beautiful hand-tooled scabbard, hand-stitched wood core. The daggers are just leather, but they're dual layer leather, so it's nice and robust. This is actually a wood cored scabbard, and it fits very nicely at the crossguard. There's not really much of a gap. It's done a lot better than the daggers. So, you know, 9.5 out of 10 on this scabbard. It's really, really nice. And it's fitted with some foam up at the top, or some kind of soft material. And it makes for a really nice, secure fit. I forced a patina on the crossguard and the pommel because I practice cutting with this sometimes, and I would just rust it with my fingerprints. So I polished the rust off and I forced a mustard patina. Now I have no issues. I just waxed these items, so I got my gloves on. I don't want to goof the wax up. I had this one fairly heavily customized, and I'll show you that now. Okay, so I've engraved this pommel with Hospitallers crosses, Maltese cross. The blade, I've had Jerusalem crosses added up near the base. I've had a pair of hounds wrestling engraved, and my initials down the side there in this very fancy knotwork patterning. And the blade is superb on this. It's definitely hand done. There's slight ripples and waves, but it doesn't project the center line off one way or another. It goes straight down. It's definitely done by hand. Very well though. I would say it's pretty good. I don't think I could do as well. It's a very, very nice wide blade at the base. Tapers dramatically. It's got a good distal taper. It's not super thick down at the base, but it does taper slightly in distal, and it's a very good piercer and a really nice cutter. It's very easy to manipulate. I can do all kinds of quick movements with this and no problem. Very comfy grip. The grip is leather wrapped and cord bound, so that it gives this nice ribbed feeling. It's got 3 risers, and overall it's just a very, very nice, very, very nice light sword. I don't even think this weighs more than 2 pounds. It's very, very nimble. I know it looks like a big beefy sword. It's actually quite nimble, no problem. Very, very good. The meeting of the crossguard and the blade could have been done better. It's slightly off, but again, I just packed it with wax in the gaps here, and it's totally fine. It's very firmly fit. I've cut with this quite a bit. I really like cutting with this sword. I've cut lots of pool noodles. No water bottles yet, but that's no problem. Pool noodles are a little bit more challenging for me, I think. Water bottles provide more resistance, so it's easier to deal with. Yeah, the peen is done exceptionally well. It's got a nice big beefy peen and a peen block. I like the distinction between the antique guard that I did, the mustard patina that I put on this very rustable steel on the crossguard and pommel, and I like the bright silver blade. It makes a very distinct, interesting piece. I really, really love this sword. This is a very nice cutting sword, and it's a historical piece that I really, really enjoy. 10 out of 10, Todd Cutler, Castillion arming sword. Perfect. So, I'm going to pause this and wrap this video up. So in conclusion, I'm a huge fan of Todd Cutler as products. I think for what you're getting, it's a very, very high value mark. It's all hand done. It's very historically relevant and in many cases historically accurate. It's nice to know that there's a supplier of commercial production volume who makes historically relevant equipment. Super nice. Just couldn't be happier with these. Again, I have out of armor kit and armored kit for my historical hobby, and I could not be happier with these. Just go out, research Todd Cutler, look up his YouTube channel, look up his products. They're superb. The fact that these come with leather sheaths, it's really phenomenal. I know it's more common now to get swords with sheaths, but a lot of the high value ones, or the high dollar ones, you got to get the sheath made for it. These are high value because they're well made, they're securely built, and the materials are nice. It's a nice carbon steel, and it's durable, it's strong. I mean, like I said, I've tested this one out quite a bit. Couldn't be happier with it. And it's at a great price point for somebody who's doing historical reenactment, or like me, I have armor and I like to do armor fighting and practice in armor. And I just like, I mean, when I come home, I put these, this is like a medieval type shirt. I just put it on because it's more comfortable than modern fashion. So go out and get something from Todd Cutler. It's really not a big investment, but what you get out of it is highly satisfactory. So thanks for watching.